You've probably seen this headline in the last 24 hours, if not before. It's appeared many times on the popular and satirical news site The Onion. It goes like this, quote, "No way to prevent this, says only nation where this regularly happens." In fact, today The Onion filled its entire homepage with versions of that article that they have published in the wake of various mass shootings. And like all really good satire, it hits home because it's true. So if you're feeling a sense of visceral anguish, feeling that something is deeply wrong here, you are correct. It is just empirically, statistically true. America is a very violent country. It has been a very violent country for a long time. The rate of gun homicides in the U.S. is higher than any other high-income country, nearly 6 times higher than Canada, 14 times higher than Israel. When you look at the countries around the world with more gun homicides than the U.S., they are significantly poorer places. El Salvador, Venezuela, Honduras, nearly all are in Central and South America. And in fact, a lot of those places, particularly in Central America, are places people often flee from to come to this country. I mean, look at that El Salvador number, just like shocking and astounding. We also just have more guns than anywhere else. I really can't stress this enough, which is related to our level of violence. We're just literally off the charts. There's no peer. We've got 120 guns per 100 people, more guns than people. That's not true anywhere else in the world. Yemen is number 2. And of course, Yemen is a country that's been mired in a brutal and grinding civil war. It's not a country that people would consider to be right now at peace. And it comes in a far second place with nearly 53 guns per 100 people. So we're just a complete and total global outlier. OK, it's also been getting worse and worse in recent years. So that's the other part of this story, right? Like, we're always an outlier. We're always a very violent place. But a new report from the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives shows a surge in the number of guns manufactured in the U.S., with nearly 3 times the amount of firearms made in the year 2020 than in 2000. There are now more guns manufactured in this country than cars. In the wake of the horror we just saw in Texas, I've been thinking a lot about all the ways the government tries to protect children, which is a laudatory and understandable goal, right? I mean, there's so many regulations around protecting children. Regulations, I should know, which exist in all 50 states, conservative, liberal, whatever, right? Like, who gets to be a foster parent or even a nursery school teacher, who can work in a school, product safety for bottles, car seats, cribs. Stuff gets recalled all the time if there's the slightest hint that it might be a threat. Even teddy bears have to go through the Consumer Product Safety Commission. All of that, this entire regulatory regime to protect kids from harm. Like the strap you put your baby in, like that's got to be tested, and it gets recalled if it's not working. We do practically nothing on guns to protect them from being gunned down. And it has a natural result. It's this chart. Look at that chart. That chart says a lot. There's a lot on that chart. The blue line is firearms. Guns are now the leading cause of death for children and young adults in these United States. That's new, okay? For decades, it was car accidents. And if you want to look at this chart, the glass half full, which I actually do a little bit, is the top line comes down. We have succeeded in pushing down road fatalities. We've succeeded in making cars safer for children. We've got a lot of regulations, those car seats that kids ride in, right? At the same time, we have made our society less safe for them from guns. And it's also the case that mass shootings, like the ones we see regularly here in the U.S., they just don't happen with just anywhere near the same kind of frequency anywhere else in the world. This really we're on an island here. I mean, this was true even 7 years ago when the 2015 study found that, quote, despite having 4% of the world's population, the U.S. made up 31% of all public mass shootings globally between 1966 and 2012. And again, that's a previous era they're studying. Now, part of the reason is that when they do happen in other places, and there have been these like awful random events in other places, they tend to happen just once. After a 1996 school shooting in Scotland, the British government passed legislation banning most handguns. There have been no mass school shootings in the UK in the 26 years since then. Similar things have happened in other places, Australia, New Zealand. Well, here in the U.S., mass shootings are actually becoming more and more frequent and deadlier. That's according to a 2019 study of every public mass shooting since 1966. It found, quote, more than half of the shootings have occurred since 2000, a third since 2010. So we've always been an outlier. We're an exceptional nation. We've always been a place with more violence. We've always been a place with more guns. But it actually has gotten worse in recent years as a sort of cultural pathology has grown up revolving around guns. A subculture that sees guns not just as a useful tool or a recreational machine or a form of self-defense, but rather as something you acquire for the explicit purpose of mass violence. Now, that could be mass violence in the form of rebellion against a tyrannical government, or mass violence as presented in many gun advertisements, which is encouraging customers to kit themselves out in tactical gear and pretend Navy SEAL or a member of a SWAT team. But that's what those images are about. That's violence, right? It's not defending your home. It's not you're out on the range. It's like the culture of marketing guns leaning into the notion the gun is there essentially for waging your own personal kind of warfare. That's the point of it. And that's a real shift. We are living with the results of that shift. Someone who worked in the gun industry for many years saw that shift, that change happen, and left because of it. And he joins me right after this break.